Karen stared in horror as the city workers tore down her colorful street mural, the masterpiece she had poured her heart and soul into. But when she learned the shocking truth behind the vandalism, her world was turned upside down. This was no mere act of bureaucratic overreach. It was a twisted conspiracy driven by the privileged elite. And Karen was determined to expose the ugly truth, no matter the cost. Karen's hands trembled as she watched the bulldozers rumble down her street, the vibrant colors of her mural crumbling under the weight of their treads. For months, she had poured every ounce of her creativity into transforming this drab alleyway, splashing it with a joyful explosion of hues and patterns. It had become a beloved landmark, drawing crowds of visitors and sparking a renewed sense of community in the neighborhood. But now, it was all being erased. The city officials had swooped in without warning, citing some vague ordinance about unpermitted art installations. Karen had pleaded with them, begged them to reconsider, but their faces remained impassive, their resolve unyielding. As the last traces of her masterpiece vanished, Karen felt a surge of rage unlike anything she had ever known. This wasn't just the destruction of her art. It was the erasure of her voice, her vision, her very identity. And she wasn't going to let it stand. Storming into the local community center, Karen demanded to speak with the city council member responsible for the decision. After several minutes of heated back and forth, a young aide finally emerged, his brow furrowed with concern. "I'm afraid Councilwoman Langley is unavailable at the moment," he said, his words measured and diplomatic. "But I can certainly pass along your concerns." "No, I need to speak with her directly," Karen insisted, her eyes blazing. "This is unacceptable, and I won't rest until I get some answers." The aide hesitated, then leaned in conspiratorially. "Look, I know this isn't easy, but the truth is, the order to remove your mural didn't come from the council. It came from the mayor's office." Karen's breath caught in her throat. "The mayor? But why?" The aide's gaze darted around nervously. "I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but the mayor's son is friends with the state senator's kid, and apparently they didn't like the political message your mural was sending. Something about it being too divisive or controversial." Karen felt her heart pounding in her ears. This wasn't just about city ordinances or bureaucratic red tape. It was a blatant abuse of power, driven by the privileged elite to silence her voice. And she was damned if she was going to let them get away with it. "Tell me everything you know," she demanded, her eyes blazing with determination. "I'm going to get to the bottom of this, no matter what it takes." The aide's face betrayed a mixture of fear and admiration. I don't know much more. But if you really want to find out what's going on, you should talk to Lena. She's the mayor's personal assistant. She might be able to give you some more information." Karen nodded, her mind racing with 1,000 questions. "Lena? Huh. Well, I guess I know where I'm headed next." Karen's heart pounded as she stood outside the imposing city hall, the towering edifice a symbol of the power she was up against. But she wasn't about to back down, not when her beloved mural had been so callously destroyed. Steeling her nerves, she strode through the grand entrance, her gaze sweeping the bustling lobby until she spotted a harried-looking woman hurrying past. "Excuse me," Karen called out, quickening her pace to catch up. "Are you Lena, the mayor's assistant?" The woman paused, her brow furrowed with suspicion. "Who's asking?" "My name is Karen, and I need to speak with you about the decision to remove my street mural," she said, her voice laced with urgency. Lena's eyes widened, and she glanced around nervously. "Look, I'm really not supposed to discuss anything related to the mayor's office. That's strictly off limits." "Please, you have to help me," Karen pleaded. "I know there's more to this than just some bureaucratic red tape." The aide at the community center said the order came directly from the mayor because of his son's connections to the state senator's kid. Lena's expression darkened, and she grabbed Karen's arm, pulling her into a secluded alcove. "Keep your voice down," she hissed. I shouldn't even be talking to you about this. But you know what's really going on, don't you? Karen pressed, her eyes searching Lena's face. Please, I need to understand why my art was targeted like this. Lena's gaze darted around, and she hesitated for a long moment before finally speaking. Okay, look, the mayor's son, Dylan, he's been getting into some serious trouble lately. Drugs, petty theft, that kind of thing. And the state senator, he's been trying to keep it all under wraps, using his influence to make sure Dylan doesn't face any real consequences. Karen felt her stomach twist with a sickening realization. So they had my mural removed to cover up their son's misdeeds. Lena nodded grimly. That's the gist of it. The mural was getting too much attention, and the mayor didn't want anything that might expose Dylan's behavior. So he ordered it taken down, no questions asked. That's despicable. Karen breathed, her hands clenching into fists. They're abusing their power to protect their own interests, while trampling all over the community I worked so hard to serve. I know, Lena said, her voice tinged with remorse. It's a rotten situation, and I wish there was more I could do. But the mayor and the senator, they're untouchable. Going up against them would be career suicide. Karen's jaw tightened with determination. Maybe for you, but not for me. This is my art, my community, and I won't let them get away with this. I'm going to expose the truth, no matter what it takes. Lena's eyes widened with alarm. Karen, you don't understand. These people have connections, influence. They could ruin you, or worse. Please, you have to be careful. But Karen was already turning away, her mind racing with 1,000 thoughts. She knew the risks, but the fire of injustice burned too brightly within her to be extinguished. The fight had only just begun. Karen's hands trembled with a mixture of fear and determination as she dialed the number Lena had reluctantly provided. She knew she was treading on dangerous ground, but the need for justice burned deep within her, a fire that could not be extinguished. After several rings, a gruff voice answered. Hello. Is this Lena's contact? Karen asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Who's asking? The voice replied, laced with suspicion. My name is Karen. I need your help. There was a brief pause, then a heavy sigh. I was wondering when you'd call. Lena said you might be in touch. Karen felt a surge of hope. So you know what happened? About my mural being taken down? Yeah, I know, the voice replied grimly. And I gotta say, it makes my blood boil. Those bastards in City Hall think they can just trample all over the people, huh? Exactly, Karen exclaimed, her voice rising with urgency. I have to do something. I can't just let them get away with this. But Lena said they're practically untouchable, and I... Hey, slow down, the voice interrupted. I get it, believe me. Those politicians and their cronies, they think they can do whatever they want. But there are ways to fight back. You just gotta be smart about it. Karen took a deep breath, steadying her nerves. Okay, I'm listening. What do you suggest? Well, for starters, you're gonna need some serious digging. Dirt on these guys, anything you can find that might expose their dirty little secrets. That's the only way you're gonna be able to take them down. But how do I even begin? Karen asked, her mind racing with possibilities. I'm just one person, and they have all the power and influence. That's where I come in, the voice replied. I've got some connections, people who owe me favors. We can start there, see what kind of intel we can uncover. Karen felt a glimmer of hope. You'd really be willing to help me? Even against the mayor and the senator? Damn right I would, the voice said, a hint of the smile in his tone. Nobody messes with the people's art and gets away with it. Not on my watch. Karen couldn't help but smile, a surge of gratitude washing over her. Thank you. I don't even know how to repay you for this. Don't worry about it, the voice replied. Just promise me you'll stick it to those bastards, no matter what it takes. "I promise," Karen said, her determination hardening. "This isn't just about my mural anymore. It's about standing up for the whole community and making sure their voices are heard." "That's what I like to hear," the voice said approvingly. "All right, let's get to work. I'll be in touch soon with some leads. In the meantime, keep your head down and be careful, okay?" "I will," Karen assured him. "And thank you again for everything." As she hung up the phone, Karen felt a surge of adrenaline coursing through her veins. She was finally on the path to justice, and nothing was going to stop her from exposing the truth. The days that followed were a whirlwind of activity for Karen, as she worked tirelessly alongside her mysterious new ally to uncover the damning evidence she needed. Despite the looming threat of the powerful political figures she was up against, her determination only continued to grow stronger. With the help of her contacts' extensive network, Karen began piecing together a complex web of corruption, uncovering a trail of financial misdeeds, shady backroom deals, and flagrant abuse of power. The more she learned, the more her resolve hardened. She was not going to let the mayor and the senator's son get away with this. As Karen delved deeper into the investigation, she found herself drawn into a world of high-stakes political intrigue, where the stakes were far higher than just the fate of her beloved mural. The corruption ran deeper than she could have imagined, with tentacles that stretched from City Hall all the way to the state capitol. One afternoon, as Karen pored over a stack of financial records, her phone suddenly buzzed with an incoming call. Glancing at the screen, she felt a surge of trepidation. It was Lena, the mayor's assistant. "Hello," she answered cautiously. "Karen, you need to stop what you're doing." Lena's voice came through, laced with panic. "The mayor, he knows what you're up to. He's furious, and he's threatening to ruin you." Karen felt her heart skip a beat. "What? How could he possibly know?" I don't know," Lena admitted, her voice trembling. "But you have to be careful, Karen. These people, they have so much power, and they're not afraid to use it. If they find out what you're planning, they could destroy you." Karen's jaw tightened with determination. "I'm not backing down, Lena. Not after everything I've uncovered. This isn't just about my mural anymore. It's about standing up to corruption and injustice, no matter the cost." "But Karen, you don't understand," Lena pleaded. "The mayor, he's talking about having you arrested. Or worse. You have to get out of there, go into hiding or something. Please, for your own safety." Karen took a deep breath, her mind racing with 1,000 thoughts. "I appreciate you looking out for me, Lena. But I made a promise to expose the truth, and I'm not going to break it. Not now. Not ever." "Karen, you're being so damn stubborn," Lena cried. "This isn't a game. These people will stop at nothing to protect their own interests. You have to listen to me, please." "I'm sorry, Lena," Karen said, her voice steady and resolute. "But I've come too far to back down now. I'm going to keep fighting, no matter what they throw at me. This ends today." Without another word, Karen hung up the phone, her eyes narrowing with determination. She knew the risks, but the fire of justice burned too brightly within her to be extinguished. She was ready to face whatever consequences came her way, because the truth had to be told, no matter the cost. The tension in the air was palpable as Karen strode through the imposing doors of City Hall, her gaze unwavering and her stride purposeful. Despite Lena's frantic warnings, she knew that turning back now would only embolden the corrupt power brokers she was determined to expose. As she approached the mayor's office, Karen could feel the weight of dozens of watchful eyes upon her. The hallways were thick with the unspoken menace of those who sought to maintain their stranglehold on power at all costs. But Karen refused to be cowed. Her heart pounded with a righteous fury that fueled her every step. Throwing open the door to the mayor's inner sanctum, Karen found the man himself seated behind a massive mahogany desk, his brow furrowed with a mix of anger and alarm. "Miss Parsons," he growled, his voice dripping with disdain. I must say, I'm surprised to see you here, especially after my associate had a little chat with you." Karen's jaw tightened. "Cut the act. Mayor Simmons. I know everything. About the backroom deals, the cover-ups, the way you and the senator have been abusing your power to protect your own interests." The mayor's eyes narrowed, his knuckles whitening as he gripped the arms of his chair. "I don't know what you're talking about," he spat. "This is simply a matter of upholding the law and maintaining the integrity of our city." "Bullshit," Karen retorted, her voice laced with contempt. "Your son's antics are the real reason my mural was torn down, and you know it. You were trying to sweep his misdeeds under the rug, using your influence to silence me and the rest of this community." The mayor's face flushed with rage, and he slammed his fist down on the desk. "How dare you make such accusations? You have no idea the kind of power I wield, the connections I have. If you think you can just waltz in here and—" "Save it," Karen interrupted, her eyes blazing. "I have the proof, Mayor Simmons. Financial records, eyewitness accounts, the whole 9 yards. And I'm not going to rest until I expose the truth to the entire city." The mayor's expression shifted, a calculating glint flickering in his eyes. "You know, Miss Parsons, I'd admire your tenacity, but you're playing a very dangerous game here. One that could have dire consequences for you and your loved ones." Karen felt a chill run down her spine, but she refused to back down. "Is that a threat, Mayor Simmons? Because if it is, I can assure you that I'm not going to be intimidated. Not by you, not by the senator, and not by anyone else who thinks they can abuse their power to silence the people." The mayor's lips curled into a sardonic smile. "Oh, it's no threat, my dear. Simply a friendly warning. You see, I have ways of making troublemakers like you disappear, without ever leaving a trace. And trust me, your precious mural will be the least of your concerns." Karen's heart pounded in her ears, but she refused to show her fear. "Go ahead and try," she spat. "Because I promise you, if anything happens to me, the truth will come out, and it will be the end of you and your corrupt little empire." The mayor's expression darkened, and for a moment, Karen thought he might lunge across the desk and strangle her with his bare hands. But then, suddenly, his features relaxed into a chilling smile. "Very well, Miss Parsons. I can see that you're a woman of considerable conviction. But let me make one thing clear. You've made a powerful enemy today, and I don't take kindly to those who cross me." With that, the mayor stood, his towering frame casting a menacing shadow over Karen. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some business to attend to. I'd suggest you watch your back from now on." As Karen turned to leave, she could feel the weight of the mayor's gaze burning into her back. She knew that she had crossed a line, that she had dared to challenge the very foundations of the city's power structure, and she knew that the consequences could be severe. But as she stepped out into the sunlight, Karen felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had come too far to back down now. The truth would be told, no matter what it took. Shaken but undeterred, Karen hurried from City Hall, her mind racing with the implications of her confrontation with the mayor. She knew that she had crossed a line, that she had dared to challenge the very foundations of power in the city, and she knew that the consequences could be severe. As she walked, Karen replayed the mayor's chilling words in her mind, the ominous warning sending a chill down her spine. "I have ways of making troublemakers like you disappear, without ever leaving a trace." The threat was clear, and it was a stark reminder of the formidable forces she was up against. But even as fear threatened to overwhelm her, Karen's determination only grew stronger. She had come too far to back down now, too close to exposing the truth to let the mayor's intimidation tactics deter her. She had promised to fight for justice, and she was not about to break that promise, no matter the cost. Reaching into her pocket, Karen pulled out her phone and quickly dialed the number of her mysterious ally. "It's me," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We need to talk. The mayor just threatened me, and I—" "Slow down, Karen," The gruff voice on the other end interrupted. What happened? Karen quickly recounted the confrontation, her words tumbling out in a rush. He knows what we're doing, and he's furious. He said he has ways of making me disappear without a trace. I don't know what to do. There was a brief pause, and then a low chuckle. Heh, so the old bastard's finally shown his hand, huh? I gotta say, I'm impressed. Didn't think he had the guts. You're impressed? Karen exclaimed, her voice tinged with disbelief. The mayor just threatened to have me killed, and you're impressed. Relax, Karen, the voice replied, a hint of amusement in his tone. The mayor may think he's a big shot, but he's got nothing on the kind of connections I've got. We're not going to let him intimidate us, not when we're this close to bringing him down. Karen felt a wave of relief wash over her, but the fear still lingered. So what do we do? I can't just go back to City Hall and confront him again, not after what he said. Don't worry, we've got a plan, the voice assured her. I've got some people on the inside, folks who are just as pissed off about the mayor's corruption as we are. They're gonna help us dig up some even more damning evidence, something that'll really blow the lid off this whole thing. Karen felt a glimmer of hope. You really think we can do it? I mean, the mayor and the senator, they have so much power. What if they? Hey, don't you worry about that, the voice interrupted. We're not gonna let them get away with this, no matter what they try. This is about more than just your mural, Karen. It's about standing up for the entire community and making sure their voices are heard. Karen nodded, her resolve hardening. You're right. I've come too far to back down now. Whatever it takes, I'm going to expose the truth, no matter the consequences. That's what I like to hear, the voice replied, a hint of pride in his tone. All right, I'm gonna get my people moving. Just sit tight and keep your head down for now, okay? We'll be in touch soon with the next step. Okay, Karen said, her voice steadier than it had been moments ago. I trust you. Let's do this. As she hung up the phone, Karen felt a renewed sense of purpose. The fight was far from over, but she was more determined than ever to see it through to the end. The truth would be told, no matter what it took. The next few days were a blur of frantic activity for Karen, as she worked tirelessly alongside her mysterious ally and his network of informants to uncover the damning evidence they needed to take down the mayor and the corrupt senator. Despite the ever-present threat of retribution from the powerful political figures they were up against, Karen's resolve only seemed to grow stronger with each new piece of the puzzle they unearthed. The deeper they dug, the more the web of corruption and deceit unraveled, revealing a tangled web of backroom deals, shady financial transactions, and blatant abuse of power. As they pieced together the evidence, Karen's heart raced with a mixture of exhilaration and fear. She knew that they were treading on dangerous ground, that the mayor and the senator would stop at nothing to protect their interests. But the thought of letting them escape justice was simply unacceptable. One evening, as Karen pored over a stack of incriminating documents, her phone suddenly buzzed with an incoming call. Glancing at the screen, she felt a surge of trepidation. It was Lena, the mayor's assistant. Karen, you need to get out of there, now. Lena's voice came through, laced with panic. The mayor, he knows what you're planning. He's sent some of his people to come after you. Karen's blood ran cold, and she quickly glanced around, half expecting to see shadowy figures lurking in the corners of the dimly lit room. What? How could he possibly know? I don't know, Lena admitted, her voice trembling. But you have to believe me, Karen. These people, they're ruthless. If they find you, they'll... Lena's voice trailed off, but the implication was clear. Karen felt a wave of nausea wash over her as the gravity of the situation suddenly sank in. Okay, what do I do? Get out of there as fast as you can, Lena urged. I'll try to buy you some time, but you have to move, Karen. Your life is in danger. Karen nodded, her mind racing. All right, I'm going. But Lena, I want to thank you for everything you've done. Just go, Karen. Lena cried. And be careful, please. I don't want to see you get hurt. With that, the line went dead, and Karen sprang into action. Gathering up the incriminating documents, she hastily shoved them into her bag and made a beeline for the door, her heart pounding in her chest. As she hurried down the dimly lit streets, Karen couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. The shadows seemed to close in around her, and every unfamiliar sound sent a jolt of fear through her body. She knew that the mayor's people were out there, hunting her down, and the thought of what they might do if they caught her was enough to make her blood run cold. But even as the fear threatened to overwhelm her, Karen's determination only grew stronger. She had come too far to give up now, too close to exposing the truth to let the mayor's goons scare her off. She would keep fighting, no matter the cost. With a renewed sense of purpose, Karen quickened her pace, her mind racing with 1,000 thoughts. She knew that the road ahead would be perilous, but she was more determined than ever to see this thing through to the end. Karen's heart pounded in her chest as she raced through the dimly lit streets, the incriminating documents clutched tightly in her bag. Lena's desperate warning still echoed in her mind, fueling her with a sense of urgency and dread. She knew that the mayor's men were out there, hunting her down, and the thought of what they might do if they caught her was enough to make her blood run cold. But even as the fear threatened to overwhelm her, Karen's determination only grew stronger. Ducking down a narrow alleyway, Karen pressed her back against the cold brick wall, her ragged breaths echoing in the stillness. She strained her ears, listening for any sign of pursuit, her heart hammering in her chest. After what felt like an eternity, the sounds of footsteps faded into the distance, and Karen allowed herself a brief sigh of relief. But the respite was short-lived as she realized that she couldn't stay hidden forever. She had to find a way to get the damning evidence to the authorities, to expose the truth and bring down the corrupt power brokers once and for all. Steeling her nerves, Karen emerged from the alley, her gaze darting from side to side as she searched for a safe haven. She knew that her apartment was no longer an option, not with the mayor's men likely scouring the city for her. She had to find somewhere else, somewhere they'd never think to look. Suddenly, an idea struck her. Hurrying down the street, Karen made her way to a nondescript office building, its windows dark and its doors locked. But she knew someone who might be able to help her, the mysterious contact who had been guiding her through this perilous journey. Pulling out her phone, Karen quickly dialed the familiar number, her fingers trembling. "It's me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. I need your help. The mayor's men are after me, and I know, the gruff voice on the other end interrupted. Lena called me, told me what happened. Don't worry, Karen, we've got you covered. Karen felt a surge of relief, but it was quickly replaced by a wave of apprehension. What do? I can't go back to my place, and I can't risk taking this evidence to the police, not with the mayor's people watching my every move. Don't worry, I've got a safe place for you to hole up, the voice replied. It's an old office building, abandoned for years. Nobody's gonna find you there. Karen nodded, her mind racing. Okay, what about the evidence? I can't just sit on it, not with the mayor and the senator's son still out there. Leave that to me, the voice said, a hint of determination in his tone. I've got a contact at the local newspaper, someone I can trust. I'll get that evidence to them. Make sure the whole city knows what those bastards have been up to. Relief washed over Karen, and she felt a renewed sense of hope. Thank you. I don't know how to repay you for this. Don't worry about it, the voice replied. This is about more than just your mural, Karen. It's about standing up for the whole community and making sure their voices are heard. We're in this together. All right, just tell me where to go, Karen said, her resolve hardening. I'm ready to end this, once and for all. As the voice relayed the address, Karen felt a surge of determination. The fight had been long and arduous, but she was more determined than ever to see it through. The truth would be told, and justice would be served, no matter the cost. With a final deep breath, Karen stepped out into the night, her mind fixed on the task at hand. The road ahead was uncertain, but she knew that she had come too far to back down now. This was her moment to make a stand, and she wasn't going to let anyone stop her.